So here's a few trades I saw happen this week in my leagues. The first one, it's in a keeper league. George Kittle for Hunter Henry and Juju Smith-Schuster. So we know George Kittle, he's most likely out for the season. And the guy getting Kittle wants to keep him as a keeper, I'm guessing, for next year. But anyway, he's giving up Henry and Smith-Schuster. He's 4-5 going into the week, so he's totally not out of it. But I guess he's selling his pieces off, and it's a pretty good get for Kittle as well. He wasn't going to keep him, so he gets Hunter Henry, who hasn't been as productive as he should be, but I still have high hopes for Henry going into the next few weeks, but he's not doing good. And then he gets Juju, who as of late has been playing good, but this guy, he couldn't keep Henry or Smith, so he trades for Kittle. He's going to keep him now. But Kittle's not going to help him this season, but I guess that's the risk he's going to take. 4-5. He's packing the season in, and he just wants Kittle as a keeper, so he's rebuilding, and that was one of the trade. But I think he could have got a draft pick instead of Kittle, because Kittle, yeah, he's a great tight end and all, but you really want to keep a tight end as a keeper who has one more year until his keeper eligibility's gone. So that was the first trade. The second one I've seen this week, the second trade is another one in this keeper league with some draft picks involved. Allen Robinson, Brandon Cooks, and a 15th rounder for Devontae Parker and a 4th round pick. And I like this trade for both teams to flip Robinson and Cooks and get a 4th rounder next year. That's not a bad haul. Robinson, he's been up and down this year. With Nick Foles at quarterback, his numbers, they're not going to be ceiling high like they would have been with Trubisky, in my opinion. Parker, I don't like him anymore, his value, because Tua is his quarterback, and Tua, he's going to do more short passes and underneath running to other guys. But Parker, he's a decent getting a possible keeper for this guy. But the guy getting Robinson Cooks, he's in prime position. He's 6-3, trying to make a run for the championship. And now, next year, he don't have a 4th rounder, but he gets 2 quality players that can help him right here now. And if he wins a championship, obviously giving up the draft picks were worth it. But this trade I like for both managers. It's pretty even in a way. I think Parker, he's still better than Cooks overall for this year. Cooks is up and down as well. And then a 4th for Robinson. That's pretty good value. Robinson, I don't know how much longer he's going to be good. He's a decent receiver, but I don't think he's a great. So to get a 4th round for him is pretty good in next year's draft. The next trade is A.J. Brown, Swift, and an 11th rounder for Jalen Reagor and Zach Moss for a 4th. So right here, this is a trade I made. I'm getting Brown and Swift, and I'm giving up a 4th next year, and I like the value I got in this deal. A.J. Brown, I know he had an off game yesterday, but it is what it is. He's been doing good. He's got good keeper eligibility next year, so if I do decide to keep Brown, he would be in the 5th round, and Swift also I could keep. This league, you only could keep 2 guys, but I'm going to decide between these 2 guys. I give up a 4th rounder, but these guys, they're not rentals for me like they were in that other deal where he could only have Robinson and Cooks for this year. So Brown, I'll have him, and I compare him with Stephon Diggs, Cooper, and Lamb as my 4 guys to go with, because this league, we start 3 receivers and a flex. And Swift, I needed a 2nd running back to go with Dalvin Cook because Ronald Jones wasn't getting the job done. And then I got a couple iffy guys like Wilkins, Ballage, and Wayne Gorman, even though he's the starter now with Freeman on injured reserve. But I needed a better back. I like, if you listen to the channel a lot, you know I'm a big fan of Swift. The key for him is just getting touches. And the trade partner was a good deal. I give him a 4th next year for 2 good guys, and he's getting 2 valuable guys who could be keepers down the line, and Jalen Reagor and Zach Moss, who's starting to produce for the Buffalo Bills. So this trade, I think it helps both managers. It's a deal I needed to make, I think. Right now I'm in 3rd place, but I'm trying to make a run at the title at 6-3, and to get Brown and Swift for a 4th round pick, it might be a little heavy of a price. I was hoping a 5th to get these guys, but I'll take it. We'll see what happens, but I like the haul I got. And this other manager, he made out well. I give him 2 young rookies who got keeper appeal next year, and he gets another 4th round pick. So that was that trade. The next one's Jonnu Smith and a 14th round pick for a 7th next year. So this guy, he's selling off a lot of guys. He was the guy who traded Robinson and Brandon Cooks for a 4th. So he's selling his team off. He's 2-7. And these are the deals you make. I know he could have got a better deal for James Conner. He dumped him for a 5th a few weeks ago. So if you saw that video and want to know about it. But anyway, Jonnu Smith, he gets a 7th for him. Jonnu, he's been struggling of late. I know he scored another touchdown yesterday, but his touches aren't there. The targets have been down. And Tannehill's struggling like I figured he would. So to get a 7th round pick for a guy he wasn't going to keep in Jonnu Smith, it's a good haul. Now this guy next year, he's got an extra 4th, 5th, and 7th round pick. So he's beefing up to make a run next year. And this was a good deal. He's 2-7. Couldn't keep Jonnu. He dumped him. And the guy who acquired him, he was streaming tight ends for the last few weeks. And to give up a 7 for Jonnu, he didn't break the bank. He'll still have his top 5, 6 picks depending who he's keeping next year. So this trade, it helps both managers. It made sense. And they got it done. So it's a good deal. This trade, T.J. Hockenson for Mike Gesicki and Antonio Brown. Hockenson, I've been raving about him a lot on this channel, and rightfully so. But this trade, I think it's a pretty good haul for Hockenson, even though I don't like Gesicki at all. You know how I feel about him. I just don't think he's going to get the targets or get the job done. Gesicki, he's up and down. His stats are all over the place the last few weeks. He could get 0 or 15. You just don't know what Gesicki's going to get. But his value takes a hit also with Tua. And Antonio Brown, he's the unknown. But Brown, like I said, I liked what I saw from him last week in Tampa. Tom Brady, he was targeting him. He was getting him the ball. A couple plays they hit. A couple miscommunications as well. But Brown, it looks like he still has some speed. He still could run the routes. He still has some decent hands. And another week together, I think the Bucs will get it going with Brown. He played 79% of the snaps. So I think it's a good deal. The guy who traded Hockenson, he's in 9th place. So he has an outside shot of making it. So he gets a 2-for-1 deal. And Antonio Brown, he's hoping, turns in to something good over the next few weeks. So this deal, I like it for both managers. They're both middle of the pack. One guy's in 7th, the other guy in 9th, so they're trying to make a change and seeing what happens. But T.J. Hockenson, like I said, he's a top 2 with 3 tight end. The rest of the way, it looks like Kenny Galladay's not going to play again this week. So Hockenson, he's going to put up top numbers this week. So that's a few trades. Final trade was Melvin Gordon and the Baltimore defense for Ezekiel Elliott and Jared Cook. And this trade, I like it for getting Elliott and Cook in this one. He's in 7th place. He needed to make a push. And Elliott, he's better than Melvin Gordon. Gordon in Baltimore, you're not giving him much up. It's pretty much Baltimore for Elliott and Cook, in my opinion. Jared Cook, I've been saying, though, his numbers are going to go down now with Michael Thomas and Sanders there. But you get Zeke Elliott, believe it or not, he's still top 4 in fantasy points for all running backs this year. So Elliott, he's had 4 bad games. Cowboys on a bye this week. They'll get healthier, though, I think. Maybe Dalton will come back where the box ain't that loaded versus Zeke, and he could get more space to operate. But Garrett Gilbert, he didn't look bad either, honestly, in that game. But Elliott, he's been banged up, too, with the hammy. So he's going to get that week of rest, and maybe he'll get rejuvenated. And for Melvin Gordon, he's only getting 10 to 12 touches a game. And he's not doing much. The Baltimore D, I know they're top defense in fantasy, but I'd rather take the chance on Elliott and Cook in this deal. So I like the deal for the guy getting Elliott and Cook. The guy trading Elliott and Cook, actually, he's in 1st place. So with Elliott even struggling, he's been getting carried this year. But now we'll see what he does with this trade going through and what's going to happen. So that's a few trades that went down this week I've seen in Week 10.